Over the course of a couple days, I was on a hunt to find more furniture that I can flip for resale. At this point, I've made thousands of dollars of flipping furniture and giving old and outdated furniture much needed makeovers. As I see things, I'm going to share what I think are good pieces to take home and make a profit, and then I'm going to show you the pieces that you should leave behind. I'll also be sharing some really cool finds, including some really unique antique pieces. I am on the road to hitting my first 10,000 subscribers, so if you could please like this video and subscribe, that would mean a ton to me. Throughout the video, also make sure to comment down below what you would take home as I show you each piece. Now let's get started. The first place we're going is Goodwill. This Goodwill is usually pretty good to me, and I've got my shopping trips down to a T. At my Goodwill, they keep all of their stuff in the back, so I typically head straight there. It was the beginning of the week and they were stocked. Mondays are always great days to go. This is probably from all the people who brought their stuff in over the weekend. And if you can get there early Monday morning, it is practically like you have first dibs on everything. I like to kind of just go aisle by aisle. I really like to slow down and look at everything so nothing gets overlooked. This time around, they had quite a few tables. This black one here was a good size round table, and it was super affordable at only $16.99. Both the table and chairs were pretty scratched up, but it was solid wood, so if I was in the market for flipping tables, I would definitely bring this one home. I'd probably sand it all down to raw wood and then do a beautiful paint wash to make it look like a white oak. That is super popular right now. It would be a lot of work, but with the right tools, you could definitely get it done and make a good chunk of change for it. Even with the chairs being an additional $5, I think this table and chair set would make a good profit. This brown one, however, I'm not so sure. It was $16.99. It did have a leaf, which means that it could expand into a bigger size, but it didn't come with any chairs, and the top was a laminate top. This doesn't mean that you can't do anything with it, but you wouldn't be able to sand it down to raw wood and it would have to be painted. They also had quite a bit of chairs. I know people that flip chairs like this as well. I just am not the person to do that. Now, going down into the next aisle, this is where the good furniture was. Well, not all of it was great. This one, for example, was $13 or $12.99. But you could tell it was a DIY, and it just wasn't structurally very sound. The wood was definitely very beautiful, and if you were looking for something like this for your own home, maybe then you could take it, but for flipping for a profit, I don't think you would have really made any profit there. This next dresser was interesting. It was definitely a smaller one, and it did have some damage to the top. It was also not solid wood, and they currently had it priced out at $24.99. I will say it was pretty though, and quite a unique piece. It had 3 spacious drawers that were solid wood. One or two of the drawers maybe needed some attention to the drawer slides just because the drawers were spilling out a little bit, but that's an easy fix. In my experience though, it's kind of an odd piece and people typically aren't looking for a smaller dresser like this. So at that price, I passed on it, but if it does go down, it'll be coming home with me for sure. So I pushed this one back and started looking over the next dresser in line, which was definitely, it had something crazy going on. It had a pink top and a light green body. You can tell that it had been previously painted before, and the finish was holding up really well. It just had some very funky colors. You can tell that someone was thinking about buying it and ripped that tag off, but at the end of the day decided to leave it behind. At that price tag of $56.99, I would be passing on it too. I typically try not to go over $50 for a dresser because I am trying to make a profit, but I definitely still wanted to check this one out. The body itself was solid wood. This was a heavy piece. Those drawers, however, though, were made of cheaper materials, which is really unfortunate. Even if the price did go down on this piece, I don't think I would bring it home just because of all of the paint that is already on it and those designs that's hard to fill, and I wouldn't want to take the time to do it. It looked like this piece was from Standard Furniture, which I don't know a lot about, but it is always good to see a tag or a label like that showing where it's from. But for me personally, I'm putting this one back. This next dresser was a winner in my book, and it did come home with me. It does have some weird things going on, so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to be making it over yet. Please drop all of your ideas in the comments below. I love to hear what you guys are thinking, and I could use some inspo for this piece. It was priced at $24.99, which is the perfect price in my opinion. It is a little weird though. It is a 6-drawer dresser, but it's got some weird hardware and some even weirder circle indents, which is going to make the dresser's hardware hard to replace. I don't think it's impossible though, so like I said, comment those ideas below. It does also have this weird black top. I'm still debating on if I should just leave it as is when I give it its makeover, or if maybe I should paint right over it. We will see. The next thing I found was such a cool find, and it was this really tall fake tree. I've actually been looking for one of these for myself, not for resale or anything, but these can get spendy, so I was happy to find this for only $24.99. His name is Kevin, and you know he did come home with me. I wouldn't say that I love the fake pot that he's in, but I already have ideas. I could spray paint it, or I could find something that is a little bit bigger and put it straight in and then cover it with like fake grass, and you'll never know it's there. The tree itself, although it's fake, it is beautiful. It just needs a little dusting and then he's ready to go. I will be honest though, I have no idea where I'm putting him yet, but that's okay because he's home and he's now safe with me. Another piece that I found that I would have loved to take home and keep for myself was this big desk. Now, this wasn't real wood. This was all like metal wood, but it was huge, and I think if I would paint it, it would look super grand and beautiful in a office, because with my type of work, I need to have an office space, but with the space that I have right now, it just wasn't going to work. It's way too big, and it was only priced at $5. It started at $25, which I would have bought at $25, but with that $5 price tag, it was sad to leave it behind. I just didn't have the space. I will say though, desks usually aren't good for resale. So if I were looking to make a profit, I would have left this behind. And you can see that with Goodwill's price tag and how it just keeps going down and down and down in price. But I did also find this really cool bar table. Again, this would probably be something that I would have kept for myself. I haven't sold anything like this, so I'm not sure what the resale like value is, or what, if people are really looking for something like this, but it was priced at $50, and then each chair was different. Now, I did find this, and I just thought this was the cutest thing. I was cracking up over this. I sent Avery a picture, and I was like, I found our new lampshade. I just thought it was so funny. Someone obviously did a fun little DIY and then decided that they didn't want it anymore. Another cool find that I found was this really cool lamp. If I had my own house and a whole house to decorate, I think I could have found something to use this for, or a place to put it in, but I don't, so I left it behind. On the same note, I also found this really, really cute, I don't know, like cake stand or dessert stand, whatever you want to call it. I just really want to have my own house. You can tell I'm so excited and really ready to be able to decorate a whole house, and I'm excited for when that day comes. I did leave it behind because I just can't keep collecting things when I don't have a house. But that's what I found at the first store. It is now nighttime and I'm heading to the next store, which is the Salvation Army. On this trip, they had some okay things. They had some really pretty gold side tables, which again, if I had my own house, I probably would have brought home. They had some couches and some chairs, which I don't really do anything with. They did also have this wood buffet, which was clearly a very nice piece. I don't think it really would have had to have anything done to it, but it was going for $100, so I just left that behind, you know. Not good for resale for me personally at that price. I did find this really cool IKEA table, and I think someone like burned wood into it, because I don't think IKEA sells it with the burned wood look. That was only $15, and it was pretty cool. And then I found this cabinet. Something cool could have been done of that, but nothing was really coming to mind. I didn't have any really cool, spectacular ideas, so I left that one too. This Salvation Army is set up really weird, so it probably looks like I'm just running all over the place, but here there was another wood side table, and this one was in really good condition. A singular side table does not sell well. Again, with more couches, it's not my thing. This table was very grand though, and really pretty. I think it probably could have been sold at a pretty good price. It was currently listed at $30, so I know there was definitely a profit that could have been made there, but I just don't do tables. But then I found this gem, you guys, and this is something I have had my eyes on because it is an antique buffet. I'm pretty sure it is tiger wood. I'm not very knowledgeable with woods, but this is a pretty cool wood. I do know that. It is pretty damaged though. The drawers aren't working super great. I would have to completely fix some of the drawers, and this piece would need a full refinish. This is also a piece that I definitely would not paint. If I were to get it, I would be completely refinishing it. It started at 150 and then it went down to 100 and then I went down to 60, and so I definitely have my eyes on it, but I need it to go down in price just a little bit more. I also found this desk. Now this was pretty spendy, and the top to the desk they were labeling as a hall bench. Is this just me, you guys, or am I seeing things right? Like, this quote-unquote bench that they are calling a bench is supposed to go on top of that desk to kind of be like a hutch, right? I don't think that's a bench. Comment that down below, because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. So I didn't pick anything up from the Salvation this time around, but I did go back a couple days later and found some really cool things. I want to call this my day of antique finds. I don't run across antiques very often when I thrift at the Goodwill or Salvation Army, but for some reason, not only did I find one today, but I found multiple. I do really love antiques, and although I do a lot of painting, I try to avoid painting antiques if possible. Sometimes they are just so damaged that that's really the best option, but if it is avoidable, I definitely avoid it. So as I typically do, I headed straight to where they kept the furniture, and right away I saw the first antique piece. I wanted to look over this table first. It did almost have French provincial-like legs, which definitely made it a little bit more interesting, but it was going for $150 without chairs, so that was definitely a pass. But here it is, guys. Here is that really special antique piece. It's kind of like an antique buffet or sideboard. It is a little bit damaged. The door just needs to be put back on. I think maybe it needs some new hinges. But as far as the veneer goes for it, or just the wood in general, it was almost in perfect condition. I mean, well, I guess I can't say perfect. There were the small scratches here and there, but aside from that, you know, it didn't have any veneer that was ripping off or needed to be replaced. The hardware was intact and it was beautiful. It had so many cool designs. I don't know. I do really love antique pieces, and I don't know. It's a big commitment though, and it's a lot of work. And this one was $100 or $150. I didn't catch that, but it was pretty expensive, and at the end of the day, my goal is still always to turn a profit, and so that's why I'm leaving it behind. I think someone else will love it a lot better in their homes than what I would be wanting to do with it. Otherwise, I was still looking. I found that really cool bench. I found, I don't know, what do you call this? A curio? Oh, okay, they called it a display cabinet, which I guess it is. Also found this fun little artwork table. It was cool. It's always cool to go thrifting and just see what you find. Again, there were a lot of couches, and at the very end, there was this same grand table, except they just moved it over. I believe that's the same table from the last trip that I went to the Salvation Army. Maybe not, though. The next thing I found was this roll top desk for only $20. It was actually in really good condition, and the wood was very beautiful as well. I don't think it was an antique, but it definitely was a vintage piece. It's not something that I would refinish for myself, and I probably wouldn't for profit either, since people don't really use these types of pieces in their homes anymore these days. But there is going to be that one specific buyer that is going to love it in their home, and I'm going to keep it there for them. It is in really good condition, so whoever is looking for it and whoever finds it is going to absolutely be in love with it. Moving on, the reason why I actually came back to the Salvation Army was because I still have my eyes on that tiger wood piece, and I wanted to check on it to see if the price went down or if it was even still there. Now, it was still there, but it had some more damage than the last time I've been there. I don't know if you can see that, but the hardware, there's actually a piece of hardware there that is kind of broken. It wasn't broken before, which is really upsetting and kind of sad, because if I were to refinish this piece, I would have wanted to keep the original hardware, and I don't know if that would be the case, if I'd be able to do that anymore. I think I definitely could have done something, but it was still sitting at that $60, and I just don't think that I would take it home at that price, because although it's really beautiful and there would definitely be a part of me that would want to keep it for myself, I would still be flipping it for a profit. And even though it has really cool wood and it's antique, I think $60 is just too high of a price tag. But I'm still going back and looking, and if it's there at a lower price, at that point I'll probably take it. For now, I'm really happy with what I did find and take home, and I would say that those were some successful trips. Make sure to go ahead and get subscribed if you aren't already, because this dresser will be my next makeover, and let me know in the comments down below what you would have brought home.